Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit Homebrew. Taking over this episode is Kilk, as he talks to Henry G.Taygar about his fantasy book series.
What's up, guys? Kilk here. I'm back again without the Hermit here at Nuke Con, just going around the booths, interviewing people. And I've got Ryan Haggerty here.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you are tell us, you're an author?
Yes, that's right. I'm a local author from Lincoln, Nebraska, so just right down the street here. I've been publishing for 7 years, and I just recently finished my flagship series, and so I've been going around to various conventions and farmers markets this year to promote my work.
Cool. Now, you said you finished your series.
Yes.
So, before we get into that series, do you have plans for another series after this?
I do, yes. I actually have 2 manuscripts that are finished and polished and ready to go. They just need covers and are ready to be put out. So I'm just waiting. Since it hasn't been that long, I just published the 6th book in May. So I'm waiting a little bit for the cycle. I have a prequel book for this series following all of the villains.
Okay.
And then the start of a sequel series that will sort of round out the entire universe. Obviously, this series itself stands alone. It's satisfying. But this sequel series will explore other themes and other characters.
Sure.
And contain more villains also in the prequel. So
Nice.
yeah, plenty of plans to continue writing.
And there's 6 books you said in this series?
Yes.
And
yeah.
how long has this series been running? Like, how long has this taken you as an author to put together these 6 books?
So I published the first one in 2018, so about 7 years ago. So I've been putting about a book a year. You know, life of course gets in the way, but
So
yeah.
is that a lot for an author or not a lot for an author? This is not as writing author stuff like that is not my wheelhouse personally.
Well,
so I'm always curious.
It certainly depends on the genre, I think, mostly. And it also depends. For me, it started out as a hobby, of course, like many. And it's not a full-time position for me as an independent author.
Sure.
So I think that's a satisfying pace. That's a pretty reasonable amount for someone that doesn't do it full time.
Yeah, for sure.
If I was trying to write romance or something, I would certainly expect to try and pump them out much more rapidly.
Sure.
But for sci-fi novels, that's a decent.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I've been happy with it.
Nice. So you gave me your pitch when I walked up, when you walked, which is fine. I love it. Give us a pitch again. Like, tell us a bit about your books, like what the references are.
Yes.
I mean, he told me, so I'm not gonna break I'm not gonna break it for anybody.
I love to talk about them, of course. I mean, so my 2-second pitch is sci-fi Percy Jackson. So they're a ton of fun. They're mostly lighthearted. In this universe, there's a secret organization called Academy Bloodstone, which is the title of the first novel here, that protects the Earth from the shadows. And in this world, they send these young adults on missions to protect the Earth that get more and more chaotic and dangerous until eventually the Academy itself is threatened in the 6th book, the newest one, which is also the final book of the series. So yeah, they're a ton of fun. Lots of action, adventure, humor. They're safe for younger readers, which is great. They are readable at a 3rd to 5th grade level, depending on the book, and there's nothing explicit or graphic in there. But one thing I'm pleased with, you know, they say write what you want to read, and I like to pretend I'm an adult. I mean, I'm not at heart, but I like to pretend.
We're at a tabletop convention here. We're all pretending to be adults.
So adults love them. I mean, there's so much depth and thematic content that would go unnoticed by a child, but that is a lot of meat there for an adult to sink their teeth into. Enough for them to be thinking about them for a long time afterwards. So
Sure.
it explores some very complex themes. Again, still safe for kids, but you know, quite a bit about right and wrong, you know, the meaning of what it means to be a hero, what it means to help others, which
Sure.
are also good messages for kids, I think,
Absolutely.
to learn. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're a wonderful book for any age.
Awesome. What drove you to create this series, like to even start writing these books?
Well, it's an interesting little story. It started in the high jungle of Peru. I was studying abroad for my undergraduate program.
Okay.
In this program, unlike a typical study abroad program where you go to another university and it's just like school, but you're in a different country,
Yeah.
we would actually stay with host families. So we would live with them, we'd go grocery shopping with them, to the mall with them. And the second part of that program would disperse us throughout the country to much smaller villages. For me, I was in a little 30-person village on top of a mountain there on the edge of the jungle, and we would
Sounds
try
incredible,
to,
by the way. Like this
it
whole
was
experience
it
sounds
was a
amazing.
life-changing experience.
Yeah.
And we would try to help the community, so the nursing students would go work in the local hospitals, and
Oh, sure.
the teachers would teach English or whatever at the schools. I was a physics major as an undergrad, so I didn't have any useful skills to go help the community.
Right.
So I would work in the field. I would help in the field in the morning, and then I would have to teach a computer class in the evening once or twice a week at the little school that was there for the few kids in the village. And then I had a lot of free time. And you're like, you think you're living in paradise. There's only so much hiking you can do, and like only so much.
And how long were you
out.
at that village for?
That was about 7 or 8 weeks. It was the second half
So
of the
pretty
program.
decent amount of time.
It was enough, and I finished all of my assigned homework in the first week. I read every book I had brought along. I had an iPad there with me, and I played every game through it multiple times. And I was like, I need something to do, and so I opened up the word processor on my iPad and I started to write, and it was an incredible escape because I was very homesick at that point. It was the end of our semester long trip abroad, and I was certainly homesick, and so it was just a nice escape away for me to be somewhere else when I was feeling lonely and and homesick. So yeah, a bit of an interesting and rather long-winded origin story, but and you can see a little bit of influence in there actually, in the first book, and I realized I loved writing.
Is this your first time here at Nuke Con?
At Nuke Con, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
This is only my second time, but I was only here for the first day. Brent and Hermit were the ones that grinded it last year. I was here for like 4 hours, and then I had to roll out, and I wasn't able to come back. Awesome. Well, the origin story is incredible, by the way. Like, I can't imagine there's tons of people out there who would love to have been like, man, I got to go and hang out in the jungles and do all this stuff. But like you said, there's only so much.
Yes.
At some point, you've done it all.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. The people there are incredible. Again, it was truly life-changing. But yeah, just being abroad for that long, it's certainly challenging. Yeah.
And you said you were out of Lincoln.
Yes, based in Lincoln right now.
How many other cons? Like, do you go to cons every year down in Lincoln maybe to push your stuff?
So because I just published the 6th book back in May, I've only started going around to conventions and farmers markets and things this year.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to pitch people on a series that is finished. You know,
Fair, yeah. How many of us binge
bit
Netflix to just watch the whole thing?
Exactly, yeah. The full series are very popular, especially because they sell at a discount from me, which is a nice thing I can do in person, something that you can't do on Amazon.
Yes.
So that's just an awesome way for me to get my stories out. The other nice thing is I offer a discount if people read the first 1 or 2 and leave a review. Then I'll give them a discount on any future books because that helps me out so much as an independent author.
Leaving the reviews.
That's the most important thing, and that's the hardest thing to get because you can do everything else right, and if people don't leave reviews, it's still really challenging. So,
interesting. So those actually really help you out as an author.
Yes.
Like those are very important.
Like the number one thing
is reviews.
And then that turns
leave
into
your reviews,
some of
people. Leave them.
Yes. You always think everyone, and I'm guilty of this too. I'll read a book and I'll just put it down and I won't think about it. But now that I'm an author myself, almost always, if I like the book, I will leave a review because I know how much that will help them.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing because when we talk about reviews, just in life, like, and we talk about, let's Yelp reviews or, any of those things, Google reviews, all those stuff. The people who leave reviews are usually the people who are upset about something. If I like the product,
true.
I'm like, man, this is great. Off I go. I don't think about going and leaving the review because I like the product. I don't have anything negative to say. But you're always going to be inundated with more negative reviews over positive ones. And so it makes sense. Like Amazon pushes you, of course, to leave reviews.
Yeah.
And are yours on Amazon?
Yes, they are available only on Amazon right now because
Okay.
they are enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program,
Oh, nice.
which has been really nice. A surprising amount of people have that program. So they're available for free on there, but the drawback is they're only available on Amazon.
Right.
So they probably won't be forever, but for the time being, yes, they're available that way exclusively on Kindle. So they're enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program.
Right. Obviously, Amazon's very good at books. That's what they started off doing.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm reading the Horus Heresy books right now through the
Yeah.
Warhammer series.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
and I've been fortunate. These books are very highly reviewed. I think I'm averaging 4.5 stars across the
awesome.
series. Haven't gotten any negative reviews yet across dozens and dozens, which for a small author is a ton of reviews, and I've been very grateful.
Yeah.
And it leads to some of the most rewarding interactions as an author is when someone comes up to me at a convention or at a farmer's market and says, hey, I bought the first one from you or the second one from you, I need the next one. And we get to like talk about the book and like, they ask questions about what's coming up and the lore and everything. And that's just the most rewarding experience to see someone tell you how much that they loved your work and what the words that you wrote made them feel. It's incredible.
I was talking to one of the guys right next to us. They're illustrators and comic writers and stuff like that, and I was like, "How does it feel to create something and have fans come up to you and be like, can you sign this? Can you do this?" Like that first feeling, the first time it happens, is so cool, right? I have to imagine that like the first time a fan came up to me like, "I loved that first book. Like, when's the next one coming? I can't wait."
It's truly, and it's magical. I mean, it's some kind of metaphysical power authors have to be able to hit keys on a machine and someone somewhere feels emotion because you did that. It's truly, it's like magic. And interacting with people coming up, I will say people in Nebraska, I guess we're technically in Iowa, the local tri-state area
Close enough.
is so supportive of local authors, like unbelievably so. This is not the case everywhere in the U.S. right now, so I feel blessed. I've had a pair of old ladies came up to me at a farmer's market one time, and one of them went, "I'll take that one," and she'll take that one. And I was like, do you want to know what they're about? And she's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it's a series. That's the second one in the series. She's like, that's okay.
Yep.
We just saw you as a local author. We just want to support
That's
you.
awesome.
We haven't seen you before. And I was so touched. They were so sweet.
Yeah.
They didn't care what it was. They just wanted to show their support. And like that is not the case everywhere. Like Nebraska really is special with the authors it supports. So.
Nice. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, as someone you're an independent author, obviously, so those are big moments for you.
Yes.
For sure. As an author, from your first book to your last book, how do you feel you've evolved as a writer, maybe? And I have one more question. Who's your favorite character in your series?
Oh, that's same reaction.
I love it because
How
when people
can you
create
ask
so
that?
many characters, there's usually someone that they resonate with. Like, man, I had a great time writing this character. Like, it was very challenging, but like, it was, after I was done, it was great. So.
Yeah, I'll start with the easier one. The first,
Yeah.
the first one. I've certainly evolved. I suppose in terms of pure technical talent, there's no doubt been some improvement, and it seemed very gradual from then to now. I'm suppose I'm certainly a better author. I've also, in terms of being an author as the industry part of it, knowing absolutely nothing, to being where I am now, being able to publish fairly easily. I have connections in the industry and artists I like to work with to provide these beautiful covers, which I didn't make, so I can brag about them. This is from an incredible team that I work with that provide just absolutely mind-blowing Technicolor.
Yeah, they
books.
look they look fantastic. I was almost gonna ask you, I'm like, are these all like friends of yours that modeled for you and stuff like that? Like, it looks great.
I actually don't know. I haven't gotten a peek behind the curtain, but
Oh, okay.
they are.
I'm
Yeah,
sure they have a
they
group of
produce,
models that
they
or an
produce
agency
really
that they
really
do.
high quality work. And editors and proofreaders and things like
For
that.
sure.
So to make the process smoother there, it's always hard doing something for the first time. It's always daunting learning.
The learning curve is wild.
And
you listened to our first two episodes, and the audio issues that we had, all the way to here. We're like, man, it's come so far.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful journey, and that's always the scariest part for anyone. And that's always my advice. It's been especially nice here at Nuke Con, meeting people who are like, come up to me just to talk to me about writing itself, because they have something they've been working on, or they have this idea that they've been in their head and they've been thinking about publishing, and getting them to see someone that has taken the first step and talk to them for advice and inspiration. That's awesome as well. To know that there are people out there now that will be published because they got the chance to talk to someone who did it and could see, yes, this is possible. So it's been a very rewarding journey. I'm happy now that I know all of the things. I wouldn't want to do it again. I don't know, honestly, if all that knowledge was wiped from my brain, I think I'd be like, because it is a hassle.
Now.
It is a hassle. Publishing independently is a lot of work. It's very stressful, but again, it's very rewarding.
It's something that we're hoping to get to.
Really?
So
that's wonderful.
Hermit has his homebrew setting. It's basically a pseudo-Norse mythological setting that our campaigns have been taking place in.
Very cool.
And the final campaign that we just finished is going to be the end point for his lore setting. And that is he said, fifth campaign? Yeah, fifth campaign in that setting that has created the history of this setting that expands upon like the original Norse setting, right? So not all the gods are the same. Like, things have happened. Ragnarok happened in their first campaign on accident. Maybe not on accident. The player, I don't know if the player intended to have that happen, but for sure the DM did not. The DM was not prepared to go down that road for that initial campaign. Maybe a future one. Obviously, if you're doing a Norse setting, Ragnarok has to kind of be looming at some point.
This episode's been brought to you by... What's in the bag? What's in the mystery bag? Relax, adventurers. It's not some grim movie ending. It's better. It's Heimdaller's Mystery Metal Dice Bag, loaded with 20 different styles of heavy, battle-ready metal dice. A random D&D class sticker of 13 possibilities, and a special Heimdall sticker with it. Perfect for your next chaotic moment at the table. So stop guessing, start rolling, find out what's in your bag. Okay, picture this. Your next game session, you drop a full 4-story guild hall on the table. Roof comes off, every floor is playable. It's from Centurion 3D's Guardia collection. Suddenly, bam! Your table goes from not just another session to one of your players will talk about for years. This is the kind of terrain that changes the game. Check out now at centurion3d.com and bring your world to life and bring yourself home your next story to tell about.
But now we're at a point where, with his settings and all that other stuff, we have a solid foundation to create a lore book or maybe campaign settings and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to be trying to get into that for hopefully Nuke Con next year. You know,
That'd be cool.
I keep pointing over to Lang. For those of you, Lang Mini Studios is sitting behind the button. He's our button presser today. So it's interesting to talk to someone who's been through that situation, knowing that Hermit's getting ready to go through that situation.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool.
The nice thing is there's a lot of really good resources out there, of course, and free resources too. So if you're just willing to take the time, it's totally doable for anyone.
Yeah.
So that's been very comforting. I will say, like, the other benefit of being an indie author is the full creative control. I have 2 manuscripts that are done, and I'm waiting to publish them, which would be unheard of. Any publishing agency would be ripping those out of my computer, sending agents in to steal it to get their hands on more work, right? Like,
they all want more. Everything's content.
I can
keep
do
telling them
everything in my own time, and I can also tell the story I want to. These 6 books, they tell one complete story, and they have a pattern. There are things you will read in the first book that will end up in the 6th book. There are things you will read in the 2nd book that will have a massive implication in the 5th book, because I had the whole series in my head from the start.
Yeah, and that's
so
good.
Well, it also makes it very cohesive.
Yes,
that's
we
true.
see that in shows that are not written to the end.
Me
We
too.
like to reference Babylon 5. So Babylon 5, all of those seasons of that show were written beforehand.
Yes.
All, I think, 5 seasons, were written before, and you can tell. They're able to, everything's seamless and everything like that. So, yeah, it's a big thing.
It's very important, and that's a big difference to having full creative control, not having a publisher saying, you need to tweak this character, or maybe you shouldn't put this in, or you should put this in.
Is that a benefit of being independent versus being, say, signed with a publisher?
100%, yeah. And the nice thing is, the start of the sequel series, that also has been in my mind since the beginning. So you will see things in book 3 here that will come into play in book 4 of the sequel series.
Cool.
Book 9 or 10. Like, everything in here will matter, and it will have an impact. And so the world feels very organic.
Yeah.
In terms of, I guess this leads me into the second question: who's my favorite character?
You don't have to give your favorite, because I'm sure your fan base might be like, that's why he hates this character, and that's why this character does this. So give me a few that you had a great fun writing.
So I'll admit here, Theo is the main character of the first book, Theodore Hertz. The story follows 2 main characters, Theo and Lena, and the books sort of alternate back and forth between them, and then bleed into each other until at certain books they're both together.
Parallel stories that connect eventually.
Yes. Yeah. In interwoven stories. And Theo was the one who starts out the series. And he was definitely, like, I see a lot of myself in him, because, again, I was writing this as a way to escape. There's always, the danger of admitting that is that people look down on self-insert characters.
Sure.
But the difference there is that self-insert characters are usually overpowered Mary Sues that can do no wrong, and they're the chosen one.
If they're written like Stan Lee in the Marvel movies, where he just shows up and it's something goofy, like, everybody likes it, right?
Yeah. And, here, Theo is the chosen one, and he sucks. He's spit take over there.
Oh, man. He sucks. That's great.
He has so many flaws. He is far from perfect. I think even in the blurb of the second one, I think I mentioned this. If you don't mind.
Oh, by all means.
Look, this is where we introduce Lena. A new threat to the Academy has emerged, and the colony's opening act is to kidnap world-famous singer Lena Silver, an alpha with incredible untapped power. The Academy responds in kind, sending in their best and brightest to save Lena and shut down Darkstone operations. They also send in Theodore Hertz. He's not the best or the brightest, but he's the only alpha they've got. With Lena's life on the line, the team escapes into a counterfeit dome. As the clock runs out, Theo has to step up and lead the way out of the nightmare. Just one problem: the simulation is out of control. So
Very cool.
he
I can
is
see how.
he is fully flawed. He feels real, and that's been like the game changer there. People fully connect with Theo because he feels like a real person. He's got his ups, he's got his downs, he's got his strengths and weaknesses, his views. He's strong in some and weak in the others, and he's not always right on things he feels, and he's not always wrong on things he doesn't. And so he's just, all of the characters in here feel unique and different and are complex. And I think, that's been one of the biggest strengths for me as a writer. And I think that's also why I probably connect with Theo the most.
Sure.
Just because he was the original main character, right?
Now, there are 6 books now. You've been doing this for roughly 7 years.
Yes.
So, do you ever go back and read the first book and just be like, man, I wish I would have wrote that different. Why did I use that? Like, now that 7 years later, you can always look back and be like, what was I thinking of
I
these
do.
moments?
I definitely do, actually. Well, and one of the nice thing is, so I recently, this is a little industry secret. The nice thing is, if you're an indie author, you can just change stuff whenever you want, and no one's gonna bat an eye. So I actually had a different series title name for them originally. All of the titles have remained the same, and all of the content has remained 99% the same. Obviously, I had to change some front matter and things like that. But I wanted to change the series title because, as you heard me say, you heard me mention alphas, which here are the superpowered beings that Academy Bloodstone takes in and trains to use on their missions as sort of a scalpel to shape global politics, essentially. And at the time of writing, I wasn't a big Twilight kid growing up. And in my head, I was like, I can use that term. It'll be cool. It sounds cool. And then I named the series Alphas because it makes sense. Those are the main characters. Well, I got way too many werewolf comments. People being like, oh, this is about werewolves. And I was like,
what are you talking about?
Oh, no. So I think either right before or after the 5th one, I rebranded and I just renamed the series to Academy Bloodstone. Which also makes sense. But, that's something like, that's a big change you wouldn't be able to do like that. That would probably take
if you were
a
with
year
a publishing company
of if they even approved it, right? And maybe it would have had a different series title to begin with. Like, who knows what you have control over. So it's interesting things like that. Like, if I wanted to go in and change something, maybe I wanted to add in a fun little line that, because I was working on book 9 and I was like, it'd be fun to leave a little something there. I could. And when people would then just purchase the newest copies from Amazon or myself, they would just have that updated little
It would
book.
be like when Star Wars went in and at the end of the last movie when they changed the actor with hanging out, I was like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can actually do little things like that, and it's honestly really nice. So I haven't been tempted to go back and change. I think I've maybe done like a loose second edition that I think it added in a couple more specifics that I had had since shown up in book 3, and I wanted to leave just fun little crumbs like actually naming a character that I had known would show up later, but now I had an actual name for them, and so then it's fun to see that show up later, and that's a super cool thing you can do as an indie author. That just doesn't happen.
Now, eventually, I've only got like 2 more questions for you real quick. Eventually, are you looking to have this series published outside of your independent author? Like if a publisher came and said, I want this series, is that something that is like maybe on your table? But if you did that, would you have to change a whole bunch of things?
So typically, publishers don't look to acquire existing series. They'll look for talent and then try to use them to write something new. So it would be like if say the upcoming sequel series, if they wanted to publish something, that's a possibility. Again, I don't know that I would want to be traditionally published. People look up to it as like the gold standard, but I've read a lot of traditionally published books that aren't that good. And I've read a lot of indie works that are stunning. Right. And so There's really no, and the industry is in such shambles. The authors make so little money. They have so little creative control. It takes so much time that for me, as someone who is really highly invested in the quality of these books and the quality of the story, it's not something that I don't know if I would even consider. Now, I do have other works planned outside the universe. I have upcoming horror novel that I'm working on.
Okay.
It is about a little flower shop in my hometown called Fensels. It's run by three lovely ladies. I used to work there in the summers when I was in high school. And this flower shop, and this is all true, this flower shop has seen no less than 7 devastating fires, multiple thefts and criminals that have worked there, and several dead bodies. And
Seems
so,
like a lot. It's
so
a little flower shop of horrors.
Yes, yes, and that is real. And so I actually had to do research. I went through old newspapers. I interviewed the women there, who were all sweet enough to say yes. And so something like that, because it's upcoming, I would maybe consider
Sure.
inquiring about traditional publishing.
And it's pseudo based off of a true story, right?
Yeah.
Are you?
Or
is it all the true story?
The horror part, yes. I mean, again, that is all real, which is insane.
Yeah.
So it will be, sort of, I guess, biographical horror.
Sure.
Because there's so many elements that are going to be real easy to work in there.
Yeah.
But that would play well in the market, and
I had a lady who walked up in between my last one, and she's like, "Do you guys do horror content?"
Oh yeah, no, it's
like,
a huge
not really,
horror content's popular,
Yeah.
and that's the big advantage of publishing companies. I think the number one draw is just marketing help.
Yeah.
Because indie publishing is a pay to win,
And they have their hand on they have their finger on the pulse of what's selling right now, and things like that.
Yeah,
so.
they have the money to actually market this thing and put it out in the distribution system that it needs to be. Although that's not even necessarily the case. I've heard of some cases where they'll just print the book and it's still all up to you, and at that point it's like, just do it yourself. you know? So it really depends on the publisher, but that's something I'm considering, just because I think that would be a big draw for a lot of publishers, especially with a history of well-received publications on my own.
Yeah, and I guess at this point you'd be able to be like, I've written this whole thing. You
Exactly.
can see what I've done.
Yeah,
You know what my writing style
I've
is.
got a resume built up. Yeah.
So what would you say, final question, I guess, for me is, what would you say for upcoming authors? You've been doing it now for 7 years. You've got, these 6 books published on your own. What would you say for people starting out? Like, what is the biggest piece of information that you're just like, man, I wish I would have known this when I started out?
Ooh, okay. That's a great question. I think, well, do you want to hear an unpopular opinion?
Always.
Oh, okay. Hot takes are allowed
Hot takes,
on this?
for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. I think you have to love it.
Okay.
That is my hottest take. And it doesn't sound like it would be, but I see a lot online in groups I'm in, on forums. People are like, how do you guys do it? I write 3 words a day and I hate every word I write. Like, how do you get rich and famous, like, by making a novel? And first of all, you don't. But second of all, like, for me, I'm so lucky that this is fun for me. Like, it has been, the writing itself was originally the escape, and I fell in love with it. And so all of these stories have just fallen out of my brain. It's interesting the way I write. I don't write consistently over the course of a year. I haven't actually written in probably 8 months. And when I start to write my next manuscript, it will probably come out in 6 weeks. I'll be done.
Really?
I just annihilate the writing software I use, thousands and thousands of words a day. It just pours out of me, and I love it. It's so much fun. And that is the key difference maker to how I've managed to publish 6 books with 2 more in the chamber and another on the way.
And what feels like a short time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you're struggling to write, I think you really need to ask yourself why. And if you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. I think that's really what it comes down to. And I'm sorry that's not encouraging
I
or
feel like
advice,
that's
but
across the board, right? Like,
I
if you
think
just don't like what you're doing, it's just going to be a job at that point,
Exactly.
right?
And
we've already got those.
Yeah, because this is not a way to get wealthy. It's simply not, and that's okay. If you enjoy it, if you love it, that will come out in the book, and people will be able to pick up on that. And so, if you do love it, I would say then, no matter how difficult it gets, don't give up, because you love it, and it will be worth it. So that's my hot take. I don't think I see a lot of people writing that writing's not for them, and that's totally okay. There are other creative outlets to get your work out, and maybe it could just be a hobby if you're not writing with a publishing goal in mind, because for me that's what it was originally.
Right.
It's a lot easier. There's no
You
pressure,
had the goal
there's
of
no
getting
deadline.
to
Exactly.
being
Yeah,
published
yeah.
and being Stephen King.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
If you don't have lofty aspirations, it takes a lot of the pressure off. Like, you can just have fun with it,
Yeah.
and go nuts, and then see what happens after that.
Right.
Yeah. So there's really, yeah. Again, when I tell people, I published 6 books, I was like, wow, that's so many. And to me, it really didn't feel like that. It felt
Right.
easy. It felt wonderful, because it was like any other hobby, like playing a video game or a board game. It was fun. It was genuinely fun to write. And so that would be, my biggest piece of advice is make sure it's actually enjoyable for you. And if it's not, that's okay. And maybe it's just the story you're working on needs to change. It's a different
Right.
genre. You
And if you're the
or
writer, you
something.
can adjust it.
Exactly.
To make it
Yeah.
something you're
Well,
happy.
and you can experiment. Short stories are a great way to try out different genres and things. Maybe you'll be like, oh, actually, I don't like reading romance, but I like writing romance. And
True,
and
yeah.
suddenly you've got a romance novel that kind of came out of you, and you're like, oh, how did that happen? Like, that's
Right.
amazing. So you can certainly discover things about yourself. But don't try and force it. That's
Right,
certainly
for sure.
it's so discouraging, and it's painful to see. I don't want people to think that writing is this hateful, lonely, sad thing. Like, it does not have to be. It absolutely does not have to be. Yeah.
Well, you've had an incredible story.
Thank you.
From your
Thank
origin
you.
story to the 6 books that you've written, you have more in the chamber ready to fire off. Give us all your shout outs. Tell people where they can find you. Promote yourself as hard as you want to right now.
Absolutely. So yes, so these 6 books are all available on Amazon. You can find all the links through my website, henrygtaygar.com. That's my pen name. That's henrygtaygar.com. They're available on ebook as well, if that's how you prefer to read. And I have an audiobook in the works. Not my voice. I know my limits. I'm not built for that. But there is an audiobook in the works, because that's also a very popular
Yes.
format. So I promise that is coming. You can find collections of these books, so books 1 through 3 and books 4 through 6, in print for a more affordable price. So that combines, again, the first 3 and 6. If you want to get the books for a little cheaper, obviously you don't get these 6 beauties. But there is something fun about holding like a 5-pound book in your hand, because they're each like 600 pages long.
Yeah.
And it's a beast. So those are the ways to purchase the books. HenryGTaygar.com will have information on the upcoming shows I'm doing as well. Because again, if people buy from me, they can get a discount on the full series and any future purchases, which is awesome. Something I can't do through Amazon or any other venue, really. It's only
Right.
in-person shows, which is awesome. It's such an awesome way to.
And
to
are you
promote the
planning on
books.
going? Do you have another show lined up?
Yes. So the next one right now for me is Nerdfest in Lincoln. So it's about a month away, taking
Okay.
a bit of a break, which is much needed. And then we'll be doing some ones in the spring. Great Plains Game Festival is not till March, but that one's on the docket. And
Yeah.
there's quite a few other ones in early spring I'll be at, and those will all be on the website. Other than that, I think that's all. Yeah, keep an eye out, I guess, for future books.
For sure.
The website's a great way to keep up with that. I give out little bookmarks that's got a QR code to my website on it.
Oh, cool.
So people have a way to, keep track of where they're reading. Everyone loves bookmarks. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
you gotta stack up the
Yeah, they
collection,
do.
So
Everyone's
so
got
that's-
100 of them.
yeah, that's
They're
an
ready to
awesome
go.
way to keep up. And yeah, I'll be around in the area next year, farmers markets, and hopefully with by next spring, probably that prequel book out. So
That'd be awesome. If you're back here at Nuke Con next year, hopefully we have another conversation about your next book.
yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I'm Kilk from the Hermit's Homebrew podcast, filling in for Hermit while he was off doing other D&D stuff. Ryan Haggerty, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure meeting you here at the con. Hopefully you're selling a lot of books, and hopefully in the next year it looks awesome for you. Hope to see you next year.
Thank you.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.